Okay, so uh, you know, you're going to see a lot of videos, even some of the videos on my website that talk about motivation. Okay, so this one is going to be about motivation to get healthy. Um, why should I worry about my health? Why should I want to get healthy? Um, the question about that, really, you got to answer, is it worthwhile to do things like exercise and diets so that you can get healthy? Is that a good thing? Do you really need to do that? I mean, it's a bother to do those things, right? But the question is, um, why would I want to do that in the first place? Okay. Now, I'm going to just tell you myself the reasons why I decided to get healthy. Um, uh, Years ago, when I was just out of college, I had just been sitting on my butt in college for 4 or 5 hours a day. I was in horrible shape. I wasn't exercising. I was, not eating the best of food. And at that point in my life, I realized that I was not feeling the greatest. And I remember at that time I was talking to somebody in my family. They mentioned that, I was spending all my day on the couch watching TV. And, that's probably one of the reasons why I was feeling crummy. It was time to get off the couch and go exercise. So I did. I decided to do that. And around the same time, I also started looking into diet also. I remember at that time I cut back on my use of salt in foods. I also looked at fiber in the diet as a thing to help prevent constipation issues. And I also looked at diets that increase the amount of plant protein as opposed to animal protein. So all of these things I investigated and tried to change my diet and my lifestyle. I basically felt a lot better. I had less problems with my back. I had more energy. My stomach felt a lot better. I was having, sometimes some stomach upset problems before. That all went away. Any constipation issues started going away. So a lot of things basically changed. I felt great, no problems. And then I had to go and muss it up, So a number of years later, when I was in my 40s, I went to my doctor because I wasn't feeling so hot. I felt, fatigued a lot. They did some labs. I turned out my cholesterol was bad. My blood sugar was bad. My blood pressure was too high. I had come to a time in my life where I had to make a decision. One of the problems was that I was carrying a lot of weight. I was carrying about 60 or 70 pounds more than I used to when I was younger. And this really showed. My belly stuck out. My father said I looked like a pregnant woman. My legs were huge. It was hard for me to walk because I was carrying so much weight in my thighs. I knew that was part of the problem. I knew that weight problems can cause problems with the blood sugar, can cause problems with the blood pressure, can cause problems with the cholesterol. I realized I had a choice to make. My choice was I needed to exercise. So these are some of the reasons why I decided to change my diet and exercise to try to get my health back. Now, an example of this when somebody else but me, there was a movie out that was called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. A gentleman from, I think it was Australia, did this video. And what he meant by fat, sick, and nearly dead was he was having a lot of health problems, and the medications weren't working anymore. But he noticed that he had about 60 pounds or so, or whatever, excess weight. And once again, he had this huge beer belly that he was carrying around. Because of the weight, he couldn't do a lot of exercise, and his diet was horrible. He was eating, things like cheeseburgers and French fries and all this other junk and snack foods, and, just his diet was horrible. So what he decided to do at that time, which I'm not telling you got to do, guys, okay? But what he decided to do was to go on a juice diet. He basically took several foods, juiced them, mostly vegetables, but some fruits, juiced them, and then basically drank the juice every day as his total amount of calories. Over the course of, I think it was 2 months or so, he lost about 80 to 100 pounds, if I remember right. But the whole idea was that he got himself down to the point where he was fit and trim. He was running every day because he was able to exercise once he got so much of the weight off, and he felt great. He was able to get onto a more reasonable diet. I think he put on a little bit of weight when he did that, but he was able to maintain himself at a very reasonable body weight. And in addition, he also felt a lot better. The medical problems that he had basically disappeared when he was able to clean up his act. And so he wasn't in pain and discomfort all the time. He felt great. So that's some of the benefits of considering going on a health kick. I have had several of my patients who had early diabetes who stopped their diabetes by getting the weight off and exercising. I've had people who had blood pressure problems who we told them get on a good diet, get some exercise, and they were able to reduce their blood pressure. Cholesterol the same way. They got back on a better diets and a little bit of exercise, and their cholesterol went down. So, I'm not saying that I'm the only one who can ever exercise and diet and get better. That's definitely not the case. Plenty of people have done this in my practice. You can do it too and get good results, even if you can't cure diabetes with your diet and exercise. You're going to improve it. Who wants to take 5 different diabetic medications? Who wants to have to worry about their kidney going bad or their foot going bad? Diet and exercise, improve your diabetes, decrease the amount of medications you're on. You're going to do a lot better. I think you got a choice to do. Get healthy or get sick. That's it.